This is probably the deepest, darkest part of Gorham's cave. Actually, it's right at the very back of the cave, and just to my right here, there's the entrance to a gallery that leads for about 35 meters southwards from this cave, and you can just make out on the top the letters that Captain Gorham wrote at the beginning of the 20th century when he discovered that gallery. That gallery leads to an area where anatomically modern humans who lived sometime between 15 and 20,000 years ago were living in this cave, and they also knew about the gallery because they went in there and they left something for us to still be able to see. And these are rock paintings. Now, there's not many of those in Gibraltar, but there's two in this gallery which are really interesting. One is a beautiful head of a red deer with the antlers and its neck stretched out as it's calling out to find its mate. The other is probably the most enigmatic. It's a stencil of a hand. Somebody has put their hand on the rock and then blown paint around it so that when they've removed the hand, you can see the outline of it. But what's really special about it, at least for me, is that it's a very small hand, and it's very likely that it was the hand of a child. But there's something even more special in this part of the cave, and this is this area where I'm sitting. We have a hearth that is from modern humans, like the ones who went in there to do the rock paintings, or maybe who were here a little bit earlier than those. And below, on another area, there's a hearth that belonged to the Neanderthals. It's a little bit lower than the more modern one. They were putting hearths here because they were probably using this part of the cave as a safe shelter. The fire would have prevented animals from coming in once they were resting. But they left a very important thing for us, and that's something that Gibraltar is unique for, because it's very close to here that somebody sat, like I'm sitting now, and they got a stone tool and they drew a line on the rock. And then they drew another line on top of that first one, again and again and again, at least 60 times. And then they drew a line that crossed it. And they carried on doing this until they produced what we nowadays call the hashtag, the Neanderthal hashtag. You can see a copy of that, a 3D printout of it, in the Gibraltar National Museum. The special thing about this engraving is that it's the first time that any engraving has been found that can be completely and accurately dated back to the time of the Neanderthals.